Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Allen?
Present.
Commissioner Norwood?
Here.
Commissioner Siragusa?
Here.
Commissioner Roberts? Here. Commissioner Stallings?
Here.
Commissioner Orr?
Here.
And Mayor Pinkinen.
Here. All right. Item 2, invocation and flag salute. The invocation tonight by Glenn Watson from Emmanuel Baptist Church, and Commissioner Jerry Allen will lead us in the flag salute.
Please bow your heads with me. Our Father in heaven, you are holy, holy, holy. The Lord God, the Almighty, the one who was and who is to come. We ask for your discernment tonight and guidance and protection for these leaders in our community as they meet tonight and in the future as they serve the people of this city, your city of Enid. Thank you for your blessings in our lives and our community, and help us to help others, especially in the leadership positions you've put us in. We love you and praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor. Thanks, Commissioner. Appreciate it. Item number 3, minutes. Item 3.1, consider approval of minutes of the regular commission meeting of March 7th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or corrections? Seeing none, please cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 4, awards, presentations, proclamations, and organizational business. Item 4.1, present pet available for adoption at the city's Animal Welfare Department. Who do we have today?
Oh.
That's pretty dumb.
Can you lay down? Lay down. No? Okay. This is Sarge. Sarge is a 6 to 8 month old lab mix, or I'm sorry, year-old lab mix. He's a really sweet boy. He seems to be housebroken. He'd be really easy keep. He just wants to lay around, and he really would love to have a porch to lay on and just watch the sunset with someone. But he's good with other dogs, and he is ready for his new home. It's on Mitch. Can you say hello? Let's show him how you lay down. Can you lay down? Lay down. And he's located in Pin 13 if anybody is interested in coming out and adopting him tomorrow.
All right. Okay, thank you. Item 4.2, recognize City of Enid Employee of the Month for March. Gerald?
Will Kelly come on up, please, in Everett? Kelly Munkris has been worked for the City of Enid for at least 10 years. She does wonderful things for the city. She was a long-term, I would say, veteran of the Utility Services Department, so you may have interfaced with her before on utility bills. She was always a go-to person down there. And for the last several years, she's been out in Public Works, helping Everett, the Public Works Director, extensively. So, as always, I say this is this is really one of my favorite things to do. And so I'm getting to do it today. And Everett, I thought you could talk about all the wonderful things that Kelly's doing for you now. And then, Kelly, I will give you this, and you get your chance to say whatever you want to say.
All right. If it wasn't for Kelly, I kind of hired her right off the bat when I became the Public Works Director. And she kept me in line the whole time, keeping my schedule straight, make sure I get to my right appointments, doing my books and my reports. And we've created a lot of good things, in the last few years to keep us going in the community and helping the community out. So I really appreciate what she does for me.
So I'm fully aware how many great employees we have with the city of Enid. So just being nominated is pretty awesome. But thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your meeting to do this for me. And thank you, Everett and Gerald, for your kind words.
Well,
Thank you.
Here's a plaque. You should have a parking plaque.
Okay, item 4.3, I want to present a proclamation. So for this, I'd like to ask Sheila Armour to come up. Okay, let me read this proclamation. It deals with Northwest Oklahoma Early Childhood Coalition, and I'd like to read it. It reads as follows. Whereas the Northwest Oklahoma Early Childhood Coalition and other local organizations are celebrating the Week of the Young Child, and whereas these organizations are working to improve early learning opportunities, which are crucial to the growth and development of young children, and to build better futures for children in Enid. And whereas the first years of a child's life are the period of the most rapid brain development and lay the foundation for all future learning. And whereas parents and family members are recognized as a child's first teacher in providing early experiences children need for a strong foundation. Now therefore, I, George C. Pankinen, Mayor of the City of Enid, do hereby proclaim April 1st to the 7th, 2023 as the Week of the Young Child, beginning the week with a family fun day, Saturday, April 1st at Meadow Lake Park. We urge all members of the community to support efforts and increase children and families' access to high quality and early childhood experiences. In witness whereof, I have hereunder set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Enid to be affixed this 21st day of March 2023. Signed, George C. Pankinen, Mayor of Enid. Thank you. Thank you for all your work.
I'd just like to invite all of the families out to Meadow Lake. Last year we did the Superhero Saturday to end the Week of the Young Child, and we had about 700 people, probably a little more. We didn't get everybody counted, but about 700 people came out. It was really a lot of fun. It's just an event that we hold to encourage families to come out and do something active outside with their children and start them off right by helping them experience some new things. Several of the people that are part of our coalition are going to be out with special activities, and they can talk about what services they do with young children. So, thank you.
Thank you again. Congratulations. Yep. Okay. Next up on the agenda, item 5 is public comments. We're going to follow the same rules that I've asked for last time for public comments. 3 minutes if your comments for a topic that we've not recently discussed or heard by the commission. 1 minute if the topics that have been brought forward before or you just have something else you'd like to submit. Scott, I'll ask you to be the timekeeper. Scott will give a 30-second warning when you have a half a minute left and advise you when your time has expired. I will ask you all to come forward in the order that you signed up to speak, so that's the order that we'll use. First up, I think Mike Stenke, but he was here for the soccer thing, so I think he just signed up for that. Ray Graves. And next up will be Rose Carr, just so you know who's coming next.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's good to be back. I was here last time, but I haven't was out because of illness. But
Stand over by the microphone. Yeah, okay. I can hear you, but others can't.
okay, thank you. It's good to be back. It has to do with sort of like with the library. Of course, I'm against what they're doing with that because you cannot tell me or I don't think all of Enid knows what's happening. And it's just a small group that had dictated to all of Enid, and that's not right because the library is a public thing. But my whole thing is with this part. When the earth was created, it was created with sand. You sand, you sand, you sand, you sand. All of us are made from the sand, which God created.
You got
us
30
from.
seconds.
Which God created us from, the sand. All of us are made from the sand. And saying that we're all made from dust. There's nothing different from each one of us according to the Bible. Man has dictated. But as far as I'm concerned, anyone else that be concerned, when Jesus calls us to go home, when he comes back to get us, he's not going to say, what's your gender? No. He's not going to say, what's your race?
You're out of time, Ray. Thanks.
Okay. Oh, but he's not going to say any of that. This is religious part. Because he's not going to say what race you are or anything like that. He's going to say, first commandment. Who knows that first commandment?
Ma'am?
The first
You're
commandment.
addressing the commission, not
I'm
the
sorry.
audience.
Who knows the first commandment? God said, love the Lord your God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Second commandment says, love thy neighbor as thyself. Also, when you judge other people, don't forget you're not supposed to do that. Okay. And you're not supposed to judge because what the merit that you judge another, so shall ye be judged.
Yeah.
And that's the Bible. That is the Bible. But also,
Ma'am, your time is up. We've
3
extended.
minutes already up to?
No.
Okay. Well, one last thing, and I do have to say this, I'm sorry, it's from the Wheatheart, and I apologize, because this is the other part of that, other part of that 3 minutes. A gentleman from the Wheatheart approached me, an elderly. He asked me to let the commission know, he lives over there by Yale and Madison. He said he has asked several times about the street, about a big old hole over there by where he lives at. He said every time it rains, he said they are trapped over there. He said he has gotten signatures several times, but nothing has been done. So I promised him that I will approach you guys with this. So thank you, I apologize, but this is an elderly, which I respect. He's with Wheatheart, so thank you.
Rose and then Val Toombs. Oh,
Good evening. My name is Rose Carr, and what I wanted to ask is what else is going to be done to Bogger Creek on the south side? It is leveled, what else is going to be done there?
We're going to sod it,
You're going to sod it?
yes, to prevent erosion.
Because
And I
people are
think-
starting to park down there like it's a park. Yeah.
Well, we can look into that too. Chief, you have the parking compliance people, but what we're focused on is we cleaned it up and now we're going to
Right.
get it sodded so that it hopefully stays nice looking for a while.
Okay,
And it's easier to maintain. That's our effort.
that's what I wanted to, thank you.
okay, thank you. Val Toombs? And Father James Neal after that.
Hello, Commissioners. It's been a long time, huh? Reaching out to Mr. Jerry Allen, thank you for making my vision come true. It is not going unnoticed. Thank you very much. I also have some concerns about the political arena that's being improvised in Enid, Oklahoma. First of all, let me be clear about something. I'm not going back.
You got 30 seconds.
None of my children are going back, and my grandchildren, okay? So let me be clear about that, okay? We just need to combine, and I'm gonna tell you, everybody said the city is not gonna do anything. Make a lie out of them, okay? Let's combine and do the right thing for once. Thank you very much for your time.
Father Neal and then John Gray after that.
New topics. I'll be taking my full 3 minutes, Mr. Mayor. And first, I just want to say for all of you sitting up here, I recognize that this is a hard job, that it comes without a lot of thanks, that it is unpaid, and it is difficult. But each and every one of you, when you raised your hand and you took that seat, you took on your shoulders a tremendous responsibility. And with all due respect, you all are failing abjectly and horribly in that duty. And that duty is to stand for the people of this community. For the last 3 years, this lectern has become a pulpit for hatred, conspiracy theories, outright lies, and this body, and I know some of you, a lot of you weren't on here through all of this, but this body has done absolutely nothing to quell that. Your silence, your abject failure, in some cases your cowardice, has created the environment in which we now have a white supremacist coming into the council, in which people are afraid of losing their jobs because of their sexual orientation and gender identity. You are deafening with your silence. At least have the courage to be open about it if you support the white supremacy, the homophobia, the hate. But instead of standing up and opposing this, which is your duty if you raised your hand to that flag. 2 meetings ago, Mr. Orr came down and stood over 2 older ladies and demanded to know why they were wasting his time. Last meeting, you, Mr. Mayor, said that you had heard all you needed to hear. You have not, because you are doing nothing to execute your duty and to make sure that this town is not run over and run under by hatred, bigotry, and ignorance. Find your courage and do your duty.
John, then Christy Balden.
Good evening. I'm going to try to say what I came here to say in the minutes time that I've been allotted. Slippery slope. I received a call on Saturday from a friend of mine who said, a woman just called me an N-lover. She's got biracial children. That means people feel emboldened to say whatever it is that they feel. When we have legislators that are trying to pass bills or write onto bills to reenact hanging,
You have 30 seconds.
when we have other legislators that are trying to bring back de facto Jim Crow laws, how far are we from that? And I will end by saying, I have always firmly believed and stand by love conquers hate. Thank you.
Christy, then Rin Arnold.
All right, I'm going to try to do this in a minute. Since you, City Council, voted to do nothing about the overzealous and discriminatory library board, they have proceeded full steam ahead with their censorship. Instead of allowing the hired professionals to do their jobs at the library board appears to be trying to reinvent the wheel, and they have a flat tire. It is ironic that this board was started because parents thought the library was interfering with their parenting. Well, this library board is now attempting to parent for every parent in Enid by censoring what books will even be available for children to choose from. It is not fair that I only have 1 minute to discuss the numerous offenses of censorship that the library board has gotten into, and their last meeting was an abject nightmare for freedom.
Rin, then Kay Sanders.
My name is Ren, and my pronouns are they, them. Censoring books that deal with difficult adolescent issues does not protect anybody. Quite the opposite. It leaves kids in the darkness and makes them vulnerable. Censorship is the child of fear and the father of ignorance. Our children cannot afford to have the truth of the world withheld from them. That's a quote by Laurie Anderson. The library board is currently trying to ban 5 books. Removing these titles restricts the access for others and is a threat to our freedom of speech and choice. With banning these books, you are saying one person's worldview and life experiences are more important than another's. You invalidate others' beliefs while promoting only those that align with your own. It was suggested at the library board meeting to shred a book, to utterly destroy it. To me, that sounds like the modern version of book burning. Is this what you want? Burning books like the Nazis did? Because that's the path you're on right now with censorship.
Okay, and then Jean after that.
I'm concerned about the changes at my public library. Evidently, most board members believe that they have a responsibility to edit the content of the library so that it aligns with their personal beliefs. A public library must serve everyone. The library director spoke about the issues they are facing, trying to order the monthly new materials while being micromanaged by a board that can't navigate its own red tape.
30 seconds.
Their ensuing discussion was reminiscent of the Abbott and Costello routine, who's on first. The confusion on their part about their own rules and processes only became clear to them as it played out in real time. Obviously, their only objective is to censor library materials. Now, instead of doing library board work, they must backtrack and clean up their own mess so board members understand their role in the policies they created.
Kat, and then Greasy May.
Hello, I'm a former Oklahoma public school student and a lifelong public library user. My young children who are here with me use it as well. My pronouns are she, they. Banning books effectively lowers the reading levels and diverse learning experiences across a spectrum of topics in the public library. The 21st century demands that a literate person possess a wide range of abilities and competencies, and many literacies. This is according to our State Department of Ed. Those literacies are multiple, dynamic, and malleable. As in the past, they are inextricably linked with a particular histories, life possibilities, and social trajectories of individuals and groups. I'm bisexual. I just found out 2 years ago.
30 seconds.
I grew up reading books. My parents didn't know what I read, and books didn't turn me gay. I guarantee that all of the parents in this room with children with cell phones, their children have seen worse on their cell phones than they have in a book. Keep censoring and dumbing down our youth literature, and Oklahoma will continue to be ranked 42nd in education, with adults educated in our state who cannot read above a middle school level.
Gracie, then Jeannie Butler Scott.
So 45% of the board's money disappeared tomorrow. In 1 year, would you notice? We'd have waves of hysteric, marches in the street, public outcry, and boycotts. They'd be splashed across our community. But when 45% of our LGBTQ youth seriously considered attempting suicide in the past year, and additionally, 1 in 5 transgender and non-binary youth attempted suicide, all we get is a city council loading the library board with religious conservatives who don't understand how the library functions and why the materials are presented in the library. There are people who volunteered to be on the library board who actually have library experience and working degrees in library sciences. Enid is a great community. It has an abundance of natural beauty, art, and wonderful people. People who love each other and appreciate that our differences make us stronger. We do not have to feed into hate. We do not have to feed into discrimination. Let free speech be the water that puts out the growing flames of hate. Let us work together as a town to make sure that Enid is seen as the beautiful and inclusive town that we truly are.
Jeannie, then Katrina Sunball.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the commissioners who have publicly denounced racism and white supremacy. I worry that the entire council has not done so. As a group of citizens led by an extremist religious leader who did not even gain the majority of votes in the 2022 primary in Enid, are trying to impose their religious views on the rest of Enid. Similar groups are pushing legislation at the state level. As a result, our library staff has preemptively moved some young adult books to the adult section. This is a form of censorship because it creates a barrier for young adults who want to read books that either reflect questions and experiences that they have or opens a window into a different life experience. As a mother of a 16 and 17-year-old, I'm extremely bothered by this. I would like my young adults to have access without having to go to the adult section. At what point will we stop catering to religious extremism? At what point do those of us who disagree with this agenda get to live here without our rights being infringed upon?
Katrina, then Diane Levesque.
My name is Katina Sunval. My pronouns are she, her. For generations, queer individuals have been forced to consume the cultural ideologies and norms of a society built to exclude our experiences, and it failed to alter me and people like me. Books that represent queer characters provide a window into these experiences, often teaching empathy and understanding, not only to queer kids, but to all kids. When we hear library board members refer to these books as sexualizing, pornographic, and grooming, we are teaching hate and division. At the last commission meeting, 2 people were talked at by a member of this commission, raising his voice and demanding we stop wasting his time. Well, there are 3 things that you can do to get this all to stop. First, put it on the agenda and actually discuss what your plans are. Second, appoint select diverse individuals with library experience to the library board. And third, listen when we are pleading with you to help us. That is your job. Please help us make Enid safe for all. Thank you for your time.
Diane, then former Mayor Norman Gray, up next.
First, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for getting my name right. Of course, I've been here before, and I was prepared for 5 minutes. I was going to open with Matthew 4:8, directed to the so-called freedom fighters, but that's going to cut into my time. I do intend to talk about economic development. You've had a preview in your email about this, but something happened today, and that was an open letter to the city from the ACLU of Oklahoma. So the first thing I'm going to do, I guess, is tackle the matter of why Enid wasn't into consideration for either the battery plant of Panasonic or the factory proposed by Volkswagen. I'd say all of you failed in economic development on that score. However, it's also turned out that Panasonic and Volkswagen decided against Oklahoma altogether. And as I said in my email, sir, I submit that it's because the people who were capable of electing people like freedom fighters, people who are capable of electing Markwayne Mullin, for prime example, is why you're seeing an economic boycott similar to what happened when Oklahoma was passing the MLK holiday. Bigots are bad for business. Nobody wants to do business with bigots. And as long as you have bigots sitting in power, in places of power, nobody's going to want to do business with the entity that they're sitting on, which is why Matthew 4:8 is very important. It has to do with the temptation of Christ, and he was taken to a mountaintop and he was shown all the kingdoms. He says you can have all, the devil said you can have all of that if you would. I will leave that rest to you, but I know that the people who have chosen to have power over righteousness are not Christ-like. Anyway, this following comment is directed to the attention of the city attorney. I will have links.
30 seconds.
I will have links that I will email you further things. As far as the library is concerned and the First Amendment and the timing on public comments, I refer you to the case of Larry Flint. I'm sorry, that's the state of Oklahoma versus Larry Flint, where he won the appeal on that. And that is a case where it's decorum over freedom of speech, and that was decided by appeals, and the Supreme Court case of Larry Flint versus Jerry Falwell. And I will,
Time's up.
I will email you all about that.
Okay.
And I will close with Matthew 17 to 23.
Mayor Gray, then Bob Osborne.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, 51 years. That's how long I've lived in Enid. Never any problem at the library. 2023, chaos and confusion at the library. The library board has become a censor, a book banner. I went to the last library board meeting. What I saw and heard disturbed me. It was clear that the board did not even understand its own censorship policies. I have 5 children, 8 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. I don't want harm to come to any of them or anybody's children. However, I
30
don't want a small group of people imposing their personal religious and political beliefs on them and taking away their freedom and my freedom to make decisions for ourselves regarding what we can read, period. What we have going on right now at the library is un-American, as far as I'm concerned. This is not about protecting children. It's about taking away the freedom of others to make their own decisions regarding their children and what they read.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this has been very educational tonight, to say the least. I really just came by to say thank you for your work and the service that you do. And it is a struggle when you have these factors fighting. I will say that I haven't heard any hateful, negative speech from conservatives on my side. James Neal has been the most hateful voice that I've heard, and calling people bigots and things like that. But I just wanted to say thank you for your work and appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay. Item 6, administration. Item 6.1, consider approval of an emergency resolution authorizing the city attorney to levy a judgment of the Court of Existing Claims of the State of Oklahoma entered in favor of Edward Aarons in the amount of $104,773.50 on the tax rolls, approving an agreement acknowledging such judgment and providing for the payment of such judgment in exchange for the city's promise to repay such judgment from collected tax levies. First vote, well,
It needs,
yeah, we
if
got
you-
2 votes. One will be
yes,
for the issue
the
itself, and the
resolution.
second will be for an emergency.
Yes,
On 6.1,
on 6.1.
I move the motion.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Cast your ballots.
I move the emergency.
Okay, motion carries 7-0. We have a motion for emergency.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Emergency carries also 7-0. Thank you. Item 7, consent agenda items.
Move to approve all the consent items.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 8, recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Item number 9, all trustees of the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item number 10, the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 10.1, approve an agreement between the City of Enid and the Enid Municipal Authority for payment of a workers' compensation judgment in favor of Edward Aarons in the amount of $104,773.50.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Item 10.2, approval of claims in the amount of $225,474.62.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Item 11, adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Item 12, all trustees of the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 13, the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 13.1, approval of claims in the amount of $496.39.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Item 14, adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. Item 15, all trustees of the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 16, Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 16.1, approval of claims in the amount of $665.37.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 17, adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Item 18, executive session. Consider convening into executive session at the recommendation of the city attorney pursuant to 25 OS 307B4, pending claim and proceeding to discuss the Garfield County Criminal Justice Authority's breach of the city's 2005 jail agreement and negotiations concerning a new long-term agreement, and the attorney-client privilege to engage in confidential communication between the public body and its attorney, because disclosure would seriously impair the ability of the public body to proceed with these matters in the public interest, and reconvene into regular session to take any necessary action.
Move to executive session.
Motion and a second to executive session. Please cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. We'll meet upstairs at 7:15. Time for a comfort break.